going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on car stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt, cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Did you dip, Jeff? I think you dipped, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you dipped yet. Willie's doing shady shit like the GOBs, like his whole failed thing with them NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay, he's getting money. Even better, tax-free, loving all the stimulus from PPP. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit.
B-side on the beat.
What's going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on car stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt, cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. Did you dip, Jeff? I think you dipped, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you dipped yet. Willie's doing shady shit like the GOBs, like his whole failed thing with them NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay, he's getting money. Even better, tax-free, loving all the stimulus from PPP. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson, Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit.
What is going on, everybody? Hopefully, guys are doing well out there. That is right. It is another Thursday night here on sportscardradio.com. We are joined by super producer Tim, back in the building, back in the house, back at the controls, working the chat, working the phone lines, working whatever he possibly can to get that 5% equity. Once that rich 9-figure bank account knocks on the door and offers us some money for Sports Card Radio. Until then, we'll be joining you every Thursday night here on Sports Card Radio. We are joined by Dippin' Dots Daniel. Dippin' Daniel. Boy, we could have probably made 9-figure selling merchandise by now. We are joined by Ryan, Sports Card News on Twitter.
That is right. Just another Thursday in the sports card world. You've got Austin Reeves cards approaching 4 figures. You've got, I mean, we just dive right into it right here on Sports Card Radio.
Go.
I mean, it's early, so I'm going to really try to avoid using the curse words. But I don't know if you guys saw this. Hey, we're a week away, literally, actually 6 days away from the National Sports Collectors Convention in Rosemont, a suburb of Chicago. Guys, it appears the 2026 location has been leaked. Attendees 30,000. That's an interesting number. Atlantic City, the quote most prized event. The thing you guys mark on your calendar years in advance is making you guys go back to the trash heap that is Atlantic City. And I'm not just talking out of my butt here. I did attend the 2016 National in Atlantic City. It's where this video is from. As you can see, probably much less people than what you will see in about 6 days in Chicago. But I, for one, want to get on the bandwagon. Yeah, you don't have to come to California. You don't have to come to Vegas. You don't have to come west of the Mississippi. You could keep the thing in Chicago or Chicago and Cleveland for all I care and pick another city. But why do we make the sports card community travel to these hellholes? And hey, you're speaking from two guys who grew up in a place that if you could get to Google top 10 most dangerous places in America, top worst cities
7
in America, it's in the top 10. So we know places that are horrific. I mean, you could, guys, dealer got robbed. We had him actually on the show last year in Atlantic City. One guy went missing. Apparently he's still missing from the National last year. Guys were walking their Pelican cases down the boardwalk, getting jacked outside the casino. If you don't know what you're in for, I mean, they might as well hold this in downtown Stockton. So what are your thoughts? I mean, we've talked a lot about branding on this show and how you would, how brands like Rolex present themselves, how brands like Mercedes present themselves, how brands like Louis Vuitton present themselves. This is the creme de la creme event in the sports card hobby, and they are making these MFers go to Atlantic City. I, for one, will not be there. I won't be there next week, and I absolutely won't be there in 2026. And there's a possibility when Fanatics starts making events next year, this event won't even be the biggest event in the hobby. So what do you think about just kind of the overall going to Atlantic City and really kind of, the branding kind of behind that and what it says about this hobby?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't say a whole lot. I mean, I think there was, maybe last time it was in Atlantic City, it was floated that maybe they'll take it to like Tennessee, which is, really gotten on the radar with that state, down in Florida, maybe like Orlando or something like that, or maybe, heaven forbid, Miami would be pretty spectacular too. There's a lot of places in Texas too, just a massive growth in population in that part of the world. Or part of the United States. Clearly the people that run this thing are running it from a bottom line perspective. I doubt it's very expensive or it costs much at all to bring this event to Atlantic City. The hotels probably subsidize it. And we were talking off air before the show started. What ends up happening is a lot of people end up going to this event. They stay at the casinos that, you're not going to go out at night. Only an idiot would go out at night and walk the streets of Atlantic City. And so you're going to stay inside. You're going to gamble. You're going to, drink. You're going to have a great time. I'm not saying like if you show up in Atlantic City, you ain't going to have a good time. But, am I going to, gather my family and go and pay to leave California? People from all over the world pay lots of money to vacation in the great state of California. Why would I take money out of my pocket and leave the state of California and go to Atlantic City? Could I take my family to Nashville? Could I see myself taking my family to Louisiana, to Orlando, to Dallas, to Austin, to Seattle, to Los Angeles, on and on and on and on. Okay. Yes, I could see myself doing that, but there's absolutely no reason and no way most people in their right mind are going to go to an Atlantic City National Convention unless you're just completely addicted into the sports trading card game, or you're one of these dealers who, again, will be dusting off a large portion of their earnings and their budget in the pits at Atlantic City. And that's why they can take these events there, is because they know they're going to have a bunch of, it's a white cultural event. And a lot of people are going to show up at these Atlantic City hotels and casinos and dust off a bunch of money. There's a gambling nature in the sports card industry, as we've talked about numerous times here. And we'll have a story later on as it relates to gambling and raffling and things like that. So that's, it's a perfect match. You get these degenerate sports card people to show up in Atlantic City, and a large percent of it gets dusted off into the casinos, and that's great. But if you're going to do it in Atlantic City, why are we not doing it in Vegas? Like how many people would go to the National Sports Collectors Convention in Vegas? And the convention space in Las Vegas is even more plentiful than it is in Atlantic City. But clearly, the people that operate the National are more worried about whatever flows down to the bottom line at the end and they can put into their greedy pockets. That's why they're doing this in Cleveland, where, like cell phone internet is still, a developing business there. They take it to Atlantic City, where you literally need a shotgun and a bodyguard in order to walk down the street. And then they take it to Chicago, which my understanding is it's pretty packed there. And, it's not actually in Chicago. Okay. Like, let's be real. It's not actually in this great city of Chicago. It is on the outskirts in a suburb of Chicago by the airport. So, hopefully, look, they don't have the Rolex and the Mercedes and the Louis attitude, and that's okay. No big deal. I think, just looking at Michael Rubin, the kind of parties he throws, the kind of people he hangs out with, the kind of people that he follows on Twitter, he kind of likes that upscale lifestyle. And my hope is they bring some of that to Fanatics. And then I think by 2026, the National Sports Collectors Convention is like a lot of things in this hobby. It's a relic of the past. And we're moving on. We're moving on to new things, bigger and better things. And the National Sports Collectors Convention in Atlantic City will be looked upon as the dump and the tragedy that it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I know they've been offered free rent to come to Detroit, to come to Columbus, Ohio, not even Cleveland, Ohio, but they've been offered free rent in Detroit, free rent in Columbus, Ohio. Atlantic City's got to be free rent. I snuck into, they have like a board, like a board or whatever, and I snuck into the board meeting one year. I can't remember when. And they came up, they were like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just chilling." They were like, "Okay, well, don't make sure you don't say anything about this." And I was like, "Oh, well, here I am 7 years later." So yeah, this is probably a free rent situation. And, I doubt you can get very many free rent situations in Las Vegas or California or some of these places. So it becomes an economic thing. So that's why you got to wonder, when with Fanatics coming in and creating events by 2026, will this even be the marquee event? Is this in 6 days, this could be like the swan song for the National Sports Collectors Convention. Like, it could, in a few years, you could be like, this isn't even the best event anymore. I'd rather go to Fanatics event because you got concerts. I can bring my family. It's in a better city, same dealers, better corporate, whatever. You could, you could make this a lot better. Once you've been to one of these nationals, boy, you pretty much, I've been to 6 or 7. They're all about the same, except the city you're in. It's all basically a museum. Everything's really overpriced. And now this year, God, is the cell phone going to work? What's the AC? The AC better be working in the Donald E. Stevens Center convention, because it's going to be 90 degrees and probably humid in Chicago. And you're going to cram 30,000 people into that room. Boy, oh boy, that'll be sweaty. So, I just wanted to touch off the rip. We were 6 days from the one in Chicago, or Rosemont, the suburb of Chicago. And it does appear 2026 Atlantic City. I can't even, I got a lot of stories about dealers getting drunk and not even be able to go to the show floor, and, people puking out of cars. This is just, what an interesting time that show was. We got a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
Here on Sports Card Radio. I don't know if you heard about this situation with Chasing Cardboard. Well, we did talk about it last week. We have updates there. We have updates on the HGA CEO, who is apparently, I can't even believe I'm saying this, trying to raffle his Dodge Challenger. And it just seems like just a couple weeks ago, we were talking about somebody else who actually got arrested for doing that in the hobby. So apparently the HGA CEO doesn't doesn't listen to Sports Card Radio because we could have saved him a trip to his CPA. We could talk about that. We could talk about these folks over here. I watched a Card Collector 2 video. I saw this person breaking on Fanatics Live, this Aaron Nowak guy.
I'm sorry.
I watched Stephanie Garcia break cards on Fanatics Live, and I didn't see anything about Tim this week. So I figure we could just hey, we're a week away. We could check in with some of these influencers. Where do you want to start? HGA, Chasing Cardboard? Jeff?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think you tweeted out something. It kind of relates to the last topic that we just had. And it was a meme basically describing the Comic-Con where you had like the semi-attractive girls that dress up, and then they showed the National Sports Collectors Convention with 3 guys with pot bellies. And that's, that more or less sums it up. I think it would be interesting if, like I'm just really looking forward to the innovation that we have from Fanatics. I don't think it's going to be perfect. We're certainly not going to be on here stroking them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week here on Sports Card Radio. But, the bar isn't set very high in the hobby when you're taking the marquee event to Atlantic City and Cleveland. Okay. And again, we speak from authority over here. It's not like we're talking down on these cities. We constantly talk down on the city that we lived in for maybe, 15, 20 years of our life. Okay. So we speak from authority. We know what a crappy city is. And Atlantic City and Cleveland are right up there with, very, very, very bad. Like both are essentially like mistakes by lakes type of cities. And, if they got wiped off the face of the earth, no one would really be that overly concerned about it. So I say we go on to, let's talk about Chasing Cardboard. I bet there's a lot of people here in the chat, over 500 strong, looking for us to address the elephant in the room. And that is Rick might be the greatest authenticator of all time. And if you're not going to trust BGS, if you're not going to trust anybody, maybe in this hobby, we can actually trust Rick. Why don't you give the people an update on the developing situation as it relates to what's been going on with Chasing Cardboard?
Well, it's the first time we've been live since, Jeff Wilson goes to the couch, right? And actually Ty Wilson, we're going to say he went to the log. You could see in this video that he went to, this was, I think, released on Friday. He went to his log. So Jeff goes to the couch. Ty Wilson went to his log. He went out here and he basically, he basically promoted himself. He promoted his email list. He started going through, who was good content and bad content. And I've kind of talked about that on some of these videos. But what he did do is he said he was going to send the 2 Rock autographs and this janky looking Ty Cobb autograph into PSA. And he was going to give them away to people on his email list. This was all done in this video over here. Well, the video, hey, you could watch it for yourself. Some say it may have fell flat. Some say it may have been kind of tone deaf. Some say he maybe didn't take that much responsibility. I thought it was edited really well. I appear a couple times in this video. I thought it was funny. I don't know. Thank you, Kelly Collects, for the $5. These people make it harder to sell my fake trims and PSA slabbed cards, MFers. I totally agree. Because I got my own cards up here. I'm trimming them myself. Boy, I could put those on eBay right now. What I was saying is I do not know if Chasing Cardboard wants to get in a tit for tat kind of video, kind of run off with Sports Card Radio. I think they're on the kind of the wholesome side of things, and we kind of dive into all kinds of different. We're going to talk about a CEO of a company trying to raffle his car. So we dip into all kind of different topics here on Sports Card Radio. So I think his messaging and in his video from Friday might have kind of fell flat a little bit. And then what that led to was more information being uncovered. First of all, he deleted his initial response. We talked about this last episode. He deleted this. 2 more rock autos that they sold were discovered. Dan the Card Man here with this post from a few days ago. The Ty Cobb autograph that he shows, well, like the freaking exact same one with the exact same date, that's actually a real one, shows up on the PSA website. So my guess is whoever scribbled on this Ty Cobb literally went to the PSA website and just tried to copy that. This Bob Gibson that they sold a few weeks ago, well, that's fake too. First of all, you can just look at it. It looks like a third grader scribbled on that. Second of all, this COA is just total BS. Send it in for a PSA quick opinion. Bob Gibson, fake. Or likely not genuine. Whatever you guys want to freaking call it. So, in the meantime, Chasing Cardboard has caught a lot of heat. So much heat that they've actually turned the comments off on this video. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this video, look, and I don't know if I really blame them here. They're just not used to that type of negativity. We've been living in this card negativity world for 10 years or more, not our whole entire time creating sports card podcasts and stuff, but probably for about 10 years. People tried to cancel us and stop listening to them and blah, 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 blah. And we're used to kind of the hate and the negativity, whereas somebody like this guy, once his messages and his comments start blowing up, might be tougher for him to swallow. So he turned off the comments on that. He's deleted his original post kind of defending the situation where he says, hey, I trust Rick more than BGS. And so Ty has done maybe the smart thing the last literally week. Turn the comments off his video, and he's at least publicly been quiet. I think privately, I've seen some of the messages that he's been sending. I won't talk about those, but publicly he has been quiet. So what do you think about the move? Oftentimes we tell people, hey, just shut up, shut up, shut up. What do you think about the move, though, from somebody who kind of runs? It's oftentimes we're telling scammers to shut up, or somebody who did something kind of shady to just shut. The card shop owner last week, just like, dude, just shut up. Like, stop responding to your one-star reviews. So shut up, shut up, shut up. Whereas, can Ty Wilson afford to just let this blow over and maybe a controversy will happen next week? Brian Wins checking in with a $5. Have we checked out Vintage Sports Shack? He's almost, oh yeah, the dude's fantastic. You guys need to go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Dude's amazing. He like just pops the camera on. He's in his card shop. He just like shoots from the hip and then he dances afterwards. It's freaking amazing. So thank you, Brian Wiz, for that. What do you think about Ty Wilson taking the let's stop the negativity. Let's turn the comments off. Let's shut her down and be quiet. What do you think of that strategy?
Well, I mean, I think he would have been better. Like, look, I haven't figured out if Ty is an idiot or if he's a scammer. Like, I actually think it's one of those two things. He either is, an idiot in the same sense as Jeff Wilson, where he doesn't really understand the hobby. When you say things like, I trust Rick more than I trust BGS, it just shows me you're either stupid or you don't understand how the hobby actually works from authentication perspective, or it's both. You're an idiot and you don't understand how the hobby works. You haven't figured it out. So maybe taking a week off and actually learning about the hobby and learning about authentication and learning about selling autographs without the proper authentication, maybe that is actually what he is doing over the past 7 days while he's sitting on his log there. Like maybe take this time to actually educate yourself and learn something about the hobby. And then after Ty learns that some guy named Rick who's selling you the cards, hello, Ty, do you think this is really the first time that BGS and or PSA has provided an opinion on number one, the Ty Cobb autograph, and number two, the Rock autographs, you are an idiot. Again, if you think this is the first time BGS has ever looked at that autograph on a quick opinion, the Ty Cobb especially as well, you'd be absolutely insane if you don't think somebody has tried to authenticate that autograph probably multiple times over the however long that fake autograph has been in existence. Okay. So like fake stuff, it's not, when it gets determined that it's fake, it's often like the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th time that it's been determined that. And it takes an absolute sucker to come in there and not only buy it, not only sell it, be told it was fake and relist it. Not only all of that, but then after all of that, actually look people in the eye on a camera and make posts on social media saying that they actually trust the authentication of the guy that sold it to them rather than BGS, who has essentially made their name in authentication for the past 20 years. Only someone absolutely with a smooth brain, like a bowling ball like brain. Like if we cut Ty Wilson's head off, his brain would be like perfectly smooth, be like nanotechnology across his brain. Just, just slide a quarter right off of it. Like, how stupid do you have to be this guy? Okay. And so hopefully he learns a little bit about the hobby. Hopefully he learns a little bit about autographs, since he's, driving around the country in his van, shooting, 89 minutes of B-roll and then 2 minutes of actually card content and posting that stuff on YouTube. Maybe he can learn that autographs of very high profile athletes, including The Rock, including Ty Cobb, somebody has tried to authenticate that in the past. Somebody's tried to get authentication from a major source on that, because it just would jack up the value exponentially. They weren't able to do that. And then they found the biggest sucker in the room. They looked around the country and they found the biggest sucker. In the past, I thought it was actually Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson would show up at these sports card shows and people would sell them their, newly minted star, PSA is just starting to grade star cards and the population report is going to skyrocket. But Jeff's in there buying it right at the top, right at the first, like Jeff was buying cards right at the top. So I thought Jeff was, Jeff's certainly naive, not very intelligent from a card perspective. And I think him and Ty are one and the same. They're actually not very bright from a card perspective. And that's okay. If they didn't project themselves as experts. Jeff Wilson portrays himself as the sports card investor. Ty goes around the country, and I think he even answers questions about selling on eBay and kind of projects himself as this, this expert when it comes to buying and selling. Neither of those guys demonstrate either being an investor or an expert in selling to me. And it became very much apparent with Ty this week. And then I hope, the second thing that he does, if he takes another week off, learn about how to handle controversy. And in this case, just a very, this was a very, very simple customer service issue. This wasn't even a fake Rock autograph issue or a fake Ty Cobb issue. It was actually just a very simple customer service issue. A customer emailed you, said that the card was fake. The proper thing to done was very politely say, I'm very sorry. It's my fault. Take responsibility. This is business communication number 101. Even if you don't feel this way, okay? Even if you're a business and you don't feel this way, you take full responsibility, okay? This is what you want your athlete to do, okay? When they miss a shot or they pass to somebody and they miss or whatever, you want your quarterback, you want your point guard, you want your, midfielder to get up there and say, it's my fault. It was maybe the coach. It was maybe the ref. It was maybe the other team. It was maybe an injury that they had, but you want them to step up and say it was my fault. And I think that's just what people were looking for with Ty over the past week or two. They're just looking for him to take responsibility and say, my bad. I didn't handle this well. And this is after the fact. This is why I don't think he's a very good businessman either, because a true businessman, first of all, wouldn't have listed The Rock, but we'll look past listing the fake autographs. Okay. We'll get past that point. A customer emailed him. He had the chance to say, I'm sorry. You're right. Here's your money back. Take the card down, tear it up, put it in his son's collection, or put it somewhere else so it doesn't get sold. And that was it. We would have never made a video on him. We wouldn't have cared if somebody sent us an email about it, because he would have done the right thing at that point. He would have made a mistake, but then finally done the right thing. This guy just kept making mistake after mistake after mistake. And at some point, you have to start looking yourself in the mirror. You got to start pointing the finger at yourself. He got on this camera and tried to point the finger at, oh, look at Card Collector 2. He's a great guy. And maybe he is. But why are you putting yourself in the same vein as him? If I'm Card Collector 2, I'm sitting back and saying, well, why am I in this video? And then he, goes on to Jeff Wilson, who I think their IQ is very similar. It's very low, and it's, especially as it relates to the hobby and self-awareness of themselves in the hobby. And he pointed to a couple other people that I honestly don't even know. So, take some responsibility. Stop pointing the finger at people either that you want to be like, or you want people to view you in the same sense as these people. Stop pointing the finger at your customers. Stop pointing the finger at authentication. Stop pointing the finger over at Rick, who sold you these cards and had a vested interest in you buying them. And sure as hell, take your finger out of our faces for just bringing this to light to the sports card radio and the sports card community. Sick and tired of these guys. They have low IQs as it relates to trading cards, low IQs from a business perspective, and probably their most major flaw is they have very little self-awareness when they commit a crime inside the hobby. Very little self-awareness to make it right. Ryan, what else should we add about Ty before moving on to other offenders?
I think in his response to me, he could have just very easily told me the truth, except he was shifty with me. He told me that when I put the Rock on, it got sold. The buyer said, hey, I think it's fake. Ty then was shown BGS says it's fake. Ty then just relists it. That's when I email him. Then Ty tells me, first email to me, hey, I just took it down. I don't feel the warm fuzzies about the authenticity. That's when I didn't trust the guy, because it was like, why didn't you just be upfront? Like, what? Now you don't feel the warm fuzzies about the authenticity of the autograph? So if he would have just been upfront with me from the rip, there would have been a video. There's countless people that I've contacted about things, or, hey, this person said this, and people are just straight up with me. Hey, here's how it is. Hey, this. And I'm like, cool. Even if it's bad, as long as they're just honest with me. It's just, I felt like he was being dishonest with me, and I wasn't sure, like you said, I wasn't sure if he was stupid or a scammer or both. And I'm still not sure. I mean, we haven't heard from him in a week. Look, before we get to HGA, hold on. Go ahead. You can talk about Ty. Go ahead.
So I think there was another YouTuber that I saw made a video, and he's like, he made two incorrect assertions about Sports Card Radio. He said he thinks we're trying to be journalists, which is absolutely 100% incorrect, because I've never seen a journalist in a nice car with a nice watch and living the high life. Okay. Journalists do a great job, but they don't live a luxurious lifestyle. That's for sure. We're not trying to be journalists over here. The other thing that he said was, we don't contact people before, we're shock jocks and we just throw this content up. Absolutely not true. You reached out to Ty before you posted a video. You reach out to almost everybody. Okay. people might not know this, but you actually have a communication journalism background where you actually do reach out to these people and you tell them the situation and you wait to see what they respond. Sometimes if they don't respond, look, sometimes you just got to go with the story and you got to tell people they didn't respond. In some cases, they're just so egregious, like we'll talk about here in a second. The story just kind of writes itself and there's no reason to reach out to these people. But you actually did reach out to Ty. We have reached out to people in the past to get clarity on situations, particularly people like Ty, who we have not ever made a video on and who we've never actually crossed path with, at least on Chasing Cardboard. I think he set up Breaker Culture or whatever. Or
I could literally, I mean, the thing I could do is when I DM'd him, I saw that from 6 years ago, I was sending him texts being like, hey, really nice website you set up, Breaker Culture. I think I was reading it on a plane. I was like, hey, I really enjoyed reading your web. So it's not like we're going after these guys, but we're attacking them, because I could literally scroll through my phone and show me being positive and saying that this guy does a nice job on his website. So it's not us attacking this guy. And yeah, I contacted him. I actually contacted him on Instagram. I contacted him on Twitter, and I contacted him on eBay. He just so happened to respond to me on eBay, I think initially, and then we had a further conversation. But once I felt like he wasn't being straight with me, that was it. Like that then I shut it down, because then I'm like, well, how do I know anything he's telling me is the truth or not? So at that point, I'm like, this is weird. So I would just encourage people, if I reach out to you, just be straight up with me. I don't even want to tell the instances where I've reached out to people. They've been straight up with me. And I'm like, cool, thanks for being straight up with me. You know, how's the weather and wherever you're at? You know what I mean? And then we just go about our day. But when you do shady stuff, then it comes out, oh, they're more Rock Autos. Oh, the Ty Cobb's BS. Oh, this Bob Gibson you sold was BS. More stuff just keeps coming out and out and out. Whereas if he was just straight up from the rip, we're still talking about how the Atlantic City's going to, or the Nationals going to Atlantic City. We're talking about people bidding $840 on a white basketball player who we're a big fan of, but this is pretty ridiculous, right? None of this is happening.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, we did. We did. Now, we're not trying to be journalists over here. I don't even know what that means. Somebody tell me what that even fucking means, being a journalist or a hobby journalist. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, in the sports car world.
Yeah, come on, get out of here. But I did contact him. I didn't want to blow this guy up. You know, I asked other people in the hobby what I should do. So I didn't just from the rip hear about this and then just run to the camera and make a stupid video. I actually gave this guy an opportunity to respond, and I thought it was important given his stature in the hobby. Dude's got 24,000 subscribers. Some of his videos that he does get 30, 40, 50, 60,000 views where he's going out buying and selling cards. I thought it was just a good teaching moment, because I would never sell an autograph like that. Never.
I wouldn't buy one, let alone
never.
Sell.
I would never, ever. Maybe if I thought it was real, I would buy it. But I would never sell an autograph like this of somebody this prominent. If it was $2 or $5 and it, might have, sure. This prominent, multiple ones. So I thought it was a good, here's a guy who seemingly doesn't even know how to sell autographs. And people are potentially being influenced and kind of learning, in my opinion, the incorrect way to sell something like this or to get this authenticated. And certainly if you as a seller are presented with information that something might be fake, whether it's trimmed, whether it's not authentic autograph, whether it's a fake card, whether it's a fake slab, I think at the very least you should do some due diligence and not just click the relist button. So it's a tough situation. Ty's been silent for a week. There's going to be things that'll happen at the National that'll probably overwhelm this, but we'll see what his response is. Does he go back to the log? Jeff Wilson never really went back to the couch after his first PPP video, so my guess is he kind of keeps it moving, which might be a smart thing.
How are we doing on the bidding? What do we win in tonight? Archie, Eli, Peyton.
All right. Well, I sold the Kobe Bryant book for, I bought it for $558 on June 8th. Then I sold it for $999 on July 17th.
Nice.
So about a month whole time. There's some fees there. So maybe cleared about $300. So we got about $850 to spend. And when I saw that Austin Reeves cards, first of all, it's one thing for guys, are we back in the pandemic? This is a base select Austin Reeves. We are Lakers fans, so we're not dunking on this guy. Undrafted sensation. I am him, Austin Reeves, $61. Guys, dig your Austin Reeves out of your quarter bins. So I was over here trying to win this Kareem that I am high bid on at $781. I think the signature looks busted up, but I think it's just signed in gold. Like it's like gold. It's not like faded black. And then this card I really liked. I have some boxes of this. 336, Jim Brown. Shit's hard as fuck.
Nice.
And then I really like this card. Even though it's stickers, these ugly silver stickers, Peyton, Eli, Archie, triple, PSA 7, 9 autos. So that's 612. We don't have the bankroll for this. Trader Griff with a $499. Ty gonna be when you get a TV deal before. How mad is Ty gonna be when you get a TV deal before him? I mean, I take this Michael Jordan. I take this Michael Jordan autograph before a TV deal.
Probably.
Look at this card. Look at this. $4,200.
Whoa.
Upper Deck Retro, which was a cheap product in 1998. That was like cheap packs. Those were like 99 cents or $1. Now it was impossible to freaking hit the autograph.
Wow.
$42.60.
That's cool.
40.
I like stuff like that.
We bought a signed Griffey 89 Upper Deck rookie a couple weeks ago. Not for $4,000. But so a couple cards. I just want to, this Jordan's at 7,800. There were a lot of nice Jordan shit in this auction. We're not Jordan guys. I think he's the greatest, but I don't dip into his cards that much. But so we got a little money. We got a little funds. Got a little bankroll from the Kobe book that we sold. And I just got outbid on Kareem. I probably shouldn't talk about the cards I actually want, but so there's that. Should we get into, first of all, if you are at the National, 50% off graded submissions at ComC?
Hell of a deal.
That's actually a deal. Should we get into the former CEO, founder, Tyler Hitt? I can't believe that we're even going to talk about this, but I don't know if you guys heard about this. This broke yesterday. I apologize. I can't credit who first grabbed the screenshot. I would send it to me if you would. I'll shout you out in another video. Tyler Hitt, which is this dude, Tyler Cole Hitt, posted on Facebook. The first post over here to the left. Tease and interest post, he says. I guess that's a thing on Facebook. I don't know. If coming from a guy, I'm not getting that excited. He says, so I'm working on a crazy line for the Challenger Hellcat Red Eye wide body. Let me translate that for you. He was thinking about raffling off his Challenger car, which is apparently a Challenger Hellcat Red Eye wide body. It will be around $250-ish each, $250 each. It's around $420 a spot. I don't know. Everyone gets a graded card, and then somebody wins the car. I may take a day or two to put it all together, and have talked with my CPA, and the money would be escrowed or held in a separate account until the winner is drawn. So this certainly got a lot of attention, that the guy who set up HGA suddenly wanted to raffle off his Challenger car. Now, before I get into his response, if you think you've heard this story before, yeah, it is a little bit of deja vu. We have our boy Ron Stephen Marion over here, who, guys, wanted to raffle off his 2013 Dodge Challenger. And this isn't breaking news in the Sports Card Radio program. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. He was arrested by, I believe, the Grand Folks, that is in North Dakota, I believe, for trying to conduct this raffle that he tried to conduct not once, not twice, but 3 different times, for trying to raffle off his Dodge Challenger. So he got arrested for trying to do that. And here we have the HGA CEO. HGA CEO. Think about how many people gave this guy credibility, brought this guy to do interviews, talked about HGA like it was a viable thing, and that they could, someday challenge fucking SGC or PSA or BGS. And this MFer is over here trying to raffle his Challenger, which just a few years ago, somebody in the hobby, who coincidentally runs a Sports Card Scammers Exposed Facebook group, tried to raffle his and got arrested. Not only got not Mark Zuckerberg slapped him on the wrist over at Facebook, or PayPal banned his account. No, he got arrested for trying to raffle his 2013 Dodge Challenger. And here we have the HGA CEO putting out a tease and interest post. I'm working on a crazy line for the Challenger Hellcat Red Eye Wide Body. Well, couple hours or pretty soon after he posted this, Tyler Cole hit. Guess where he's from? He says, sad news. And I'll read this in his voice. My CPA had concerns, so we reached out to an attorney, and in Tennessee, we aren't eligible to hold raffles as we are not a charity. Even though box breaks and lines are technically illegal in most cases, they avoid criminal charges because of the amount. It's a weird statement. So I guess this will not be happening. Sorry, everybody. So it's the first time I'm getting worked up all show. I can't believe somebody got arrested for trying to raffle a Dodge Challenger in the sports card community. And this guy, Tyler Hitt, is over here literally trying to raffle a Dodge Challenger. So what is your reaction to Tyler?
I mean, my first reaction is I had to get a calculator out. Okay. I multiplied 420 times 250, and we get to a number of $105,000. So if anybody's curious why these are not legal to do, is this would be a fantastic way to make money, similar to the way casinos and regulated gambling happens to make money. Is I don't know how much a Dodge Challenger Hellcat Red Eye wide body cost, but just being a fan of Mercedes cars and the new Cybertruck that's coming from Tesla and other expensive things, I don't think that a Dodge Challenger wide body red line, this, that, and the other is $105,000 car. Particularly, my guess too is Tyler doesn't actually own that car. He was probably looking to pay off the balance on whatever loan that he is underwater on as it relates to that car, because those cars just simply do not appreciate. Suckers buy that type of car. And look, any new car pretty much depreciates in value. So it's a depreciating asset. It's not one I would be actively showing off and being super excited about. But I mean, again, we talked about a smooth brain earlier from Ty. Looks like another Ty here, and then that is Tyler also, has that brain that is very, 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 very smooth above his dome. And so I don't know what to say about this. Again, we had a guy already essentially get arrested for doing the same thing, very similar car. And now we have another guy trying to do it as well, trying to raise $105,000. And yeah, so I mean, again, this is the hobby that we're in. People wonder how Sports Card Radio gets so many viewers, so many fans of the show and support. It's because a lot of people in this hobby have 0 brain cells and we just have 2 between us, and that automatically sets us apart from the vast majority of the hobby. The fact that we actually have a brain cell in our brain, and the large swaths of the hobby, again, nobody of the 683 that are tuning in now, they have more brain cells than both of us. But in terms of the quote influencer journalists in the hobby, I think our 1 brain cell combined is exponentially higher than the vast majority of what you see here in the hobby. And that is just a known fact at this point and this stage where we are.
If I had more time, if we had 22 people working for us like Jeff Wilson, I'd put up all the clips of people giving this MFer the time of day. The time of day.
Would you say he went on Jeremy? Did he go on Jeremy Lee's podcast?
I don't know, but I would bet any of these cards, you pick the amount, and I would bet any of them out. I guarantee he appeared on that channel, and many others who just essentially are trying to imitate, I guess, Jeremy Lee to an extent. So, and hey, if you're running an interview show, you've got to get guests on your channel. So I understand that to an extent, but at some point we've got to quit. And there's a guy, I don't even want to mention him, that's doing the interview circuit right now that failed at a company, failed at a marketplace. Now he's on hawking his new marketplace. So if you're running an interview show, you got to get guests, you got to get people to be interviewed, but giving the platform and giving the stage to people that clearly the brain cells are lacking. So that's frankly all we really had on Mr. Tyler Hitt. I don't know if we want to get into some of these other influencers. I don't know if we want to go to questions and answers. I don't know if what do we want to do here on the show?
Let's go to question and answers, because I do have work tonight. This guy Patty Mills saying that Kareem auto is fake.
Hey,
looks a little like
it's good. I got outbid. Well, there was some Kareem there. There was some litigation between Kareem and Upper Deck, I think, or somebody. I think it was after 2006. I think it was more like 2010, 2012, with something about his autograph. So this card's all banged up, as most of these exquisites are, super banged up, but the autograph, I thought it was faded, but it's just signed in like gold. And then you get a kind of a cool game worn patch, but his stuff, I mean, when you compare it to freaking Austin Reeves,
seems like a bargain.
Seems like a freaking bargain.
And I like Austin Reeves. 2028 Compton card. That was one I would go to. If you had a card show in Compton, I would go. I wasn't far from Compton in the Super Bowl. Denver makes a lot more sense. A lot of good things going on in Denver. I would definitely think about that. Yes, let's do it in Denver. We need to be high to pay the kind of markup the National has. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of that legal stuff going on in Denver. Palmetto Draft Network says you don't need to leave California to gamble while in the sports card business. Just ask Mark Cards, who is all about those vibes. Matthew Sanders says, let's have it in Modesto, California, down at the Red Lion. Is that place still there? Ryan, you might know the Red Lion is still there. Sounds like an establishment that
if cameras had been rolling around my life the last couple months, I've got some good Modesto stories, but we'll save those for another day.
And Matthew added that it wouldn't be the worst decision to have it in Modesto. Modesto is pretty bad, honestly. Maiden's World of Wax, $2 Canadian. Thanks in advance on starting the channel now at 275. Appreciate that. Kelly Collects coming in with the $5. She noted earlier that it's making it hard to sell fake trimmed and PSA slabs. What I noticed is on Twitter, Paul Lesko, who's an attorney, noted that in California, if you buy, here it is, any person or any agent knowingly manufactures, produces, or distributes unlicensed or counterfeit sports trading cards with the intent to deceive, injure, or defraud is guilty of a misdemeanor. And it is, I believe, might have to take Kelly's comment off of here, $5,000 per violation. Each card sold represents a separate violation. So if you were to buy 10 cards and got the maximum civil penalty, that would be over 50, or there would be $50,000. So needless to say, next time I'm on eBay, I might be buying some counterfeit.
We could have bought the Rock autograph from Chasing Cardboard. He knowingly, he said he didn't feel the warm fuzzies about the authenticity of it.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, he's selling us a counterfeit sports card.
Right.
And then so we would be refunded the full amount. So the $66, let's say, but then a civil penalty not to exceed 5,000. So we could get 5 racks from.
Yeah, we're doing these people a favor, actually. We're doing people a favor. Honestly. No more ComC CAPTCHA. That sounds good to me. Every time you that keeps you from logging into that site, that freaking CAPTCHA that would pop up every time you logged in. Brian Wiz with the 5 Yankee. Have you boys checked out the Vintage Sports Shack? Oh yeah, we talked about this earlier. I saw one of his videos earlier. Shop. I think is this the guy that records it in the shop? Is it my
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like for whatever reason, his video got suggested to me. And I watched it. The shop looks cool. Like the angle that he was recording at looks pretty cool to me. Will look like a place I'd like to go. Lucas Factor ComC admitted they made a mistake with a card I purchased, and they made it right. Integrity is everything in this hobby, and your faith has nothing to do with it. Ty, that's right. Keep your faith out of it, bro. Keep your faith out of this. Like, come on. God does love you and he does forgive you, but keep it out of your mouth. Lucas also coming in with ComC won me back with a good response, and I even apologize to them as well. No hurt feelings. Understand everybody makes mistakes, but to deny it like Ty, double and triple down, makes you a scammer and an idiot. I couldn't say it better myself. Toothless Levi, journalists don't own Rolex. I like how that's plural, because that is accurate. Or Audemars PAs. Okay. We got one of those over here too. Alexander Rodriguez, You Ruin the Hobby I Love is my 8-year-old daughter's favorite song right now. Sounds great in my car. Well, you're raising that 8-year-old right, and we look forward at a future time, maybe meeting you guys at a card show and sharing this hobby that we all do love. Jesse Keen, Colin, tell me you're going to give Ryan a cool million. I don't think that's gonna, I don't think I can give away a million. Yeah, let's do that. I think, I mean, I don't know. I think there's been a lot of things that I've worked on in my life that now you're kind of working on a lot. And so,
that's the thing. Sports Card Radio was your idea. A lot of these shit has been your idea, and I've just kind of helped execute, I guess, the idea. So I've probably ridden your coattails for at least 1 million or 2 by now. So maybe you haven't directly, you probably haven't directly given it to me, but I basically kind of ridden the coattails of it.
Maybe.
I wouldn't be on here doing these videos unless you started that other channel and started getting hella views. I was like, I don't want to be on camera. Like,
that's right. Yeah. Like, because I want to be on camera. I remember for like months, I kept telling you.
You kept telling me, and I'm like, I don't want to be on camera.
Fuck that. And then, so you're welcome, guys. Old Merchants Vintage Sports Cards. Do you think Fanatics will acquire Panini this week? I don't know if my opinion on whether or not this acquisition will go down is valid at this point. They're mailing out all the decade-old redemptions. I don't have any. I had credible information that this was going to go down. I think there actually was. It was actually pretty darn close to getting done, but it just shows you kind of the ineptness over at Panini, that they just kind of let it fall through the cracks. And I think at this point, wouldn't surprise me in the sense that I think it definitely makes sense actually for both companies to actually do this now. But it would surprise me just from a business standpoint. I think Fanatics, I think they're preparing their company to go public. And in that sense, conserving cash, showing revenue, showing profits, probably maybe a little bit more important than Panini. Of course, when I doubt that the deal will go through, chances are next week we'll hear from it. Trader Griff's $4.99.
Breaking news.
How? Yeah. Maybe I'll make a video then.
Breaking news.
How Ty's going to be mad when you guys get a TV deal before him. I actually had the producer of a documentary text me for the past couple of days, wondering if we were going to be at the National. So maybe we will be on nationally syndicated TV before Mr. Ty. Do you think Fanatics will purchase SCR? That'd be great.
Yes.
Yes. Everybody has a price, folks. Everybody has a price. Make an offer, and you might be surprised.
We might say yes.
yeah. Especially if it's I don't want to throw out a number, but there are numbers where
there are numbers where it would be a yes.
Elong 87 with the $6.99 Canadian. SCR has been gifted a treasure trove of sound bites over the past 10 days from all these quote influencer response videos. I actually haven't seen many of them. And people are more than welcome to, put our photos up if in their thumbnails and use the Sports Card Radio brand, I guess you could say, to get views. Like, I actually think that's cool. Whether or not you agree or disagree, that's fine. I actually like it when people use our content to get views and subscribers for their channel. I actually like it. Chasing Cardboard, I don't know if this may be real, this may be not. Chasing Cardboard prides itself on conducting business in a professional manner. It sounds like he finally went to business 101 class last week. You guys, on the other hand, are nothing but detrimental to the hobby. Oh yeah, your customer bought a fake autograph from you and complained about it, and then you relisted it, and we messaged you and said, hey, what's going on here? That's a real detriment to the hobby, where we're looking out for your customer, your paying customer, a fan of your channel, and we're looking out for the next buyer of that card and the authenticity of autographs that are being sold. Very detrimental over here at Sports Card Radio. He says, please keep my name out your mouth. No, Ty. It's not going to happen. Colin, when is the Tesla raffle? Well, should I say which one? Or one of them has a ding. I have a ding on the door of my Tesla. I was mowing my lawn, and I don't know, there was something on my lawn, and it spit out, and it hit the door of my Tesla, and now I got this. Whoops. I'm just glad it didn't hit the window. I don't care if there's it's a big ding. Like, it's actually
6 racks. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've already had 2 people hit my bumper, and each time it was like $4,000. So, I don't know. I'm going to get the Cybertruck though. The decision is, which Tesla do I trade in to get the Cybertruck? I've got first world problems over here at Sports Card Radio. Which Tesla do you trade in to get the Cybertruck? Very much first world problem. Where's my Sports Card Radio shirt? Somebody needs to make them. Like, somebody needs to. SCR flip flops. That would be good. Those would sell, I think. How about a Patek Philippe? I do want a Patek one day. Not quite at that level. They do make one that I really want, but I don't really have $250,000 or $100,000 or whatever they cost. Would love to get a Patek one day for sure. 1 million for Colin is chump change. Not quite there yet, but we're trying to get there. Samuel Lawrence, Ty sold me Enron options. So those probably expired. Worthless. I'm sorry about that, Samuel. Very sorry about that. Brian Bayless, always loyal to the channel with the $4.99. This content gives me the warm and fuzzies. Also, are you looking for an autograph excerpt? Because I too can pretend to be one. Brian, we will certainly have you authenticate any autographs that come through here. I have a pen over here, in fact, and maybe a few Tiger Woods cards, and I'm going to sign. And if you could authenticate those, we'll be listing those through Chasing Cardboard's eBay channel any minute now. Elong 87 with another $6.99 Canadian. Chasing Cardboard response, starting to become the Dunner-Kruger effect levels of stupid. Couldn't agree more. I wrote a newsletter this week. Actually, well, I didn't, maybe too much information, but I didn't write it, but on that effect itself. So very much aware of what Ty is doing.
Next week, I'm literally going to promote our own newsletter. I swear to God.
Yeah, I think that's actually what we'll do. I meant to do it this week, but I've just been caught up. But maybe like a newsletter, and we'll do like a break. I think we should do like breaks live on the show. Something I have some unopened wax is sitting in the safe.
Oh, I got press pass basketball boxes, baby. We can
my stuff. I have like sapphire, Topps Chrome sapphire. There's Bowman Chrome in there. There's like a couple $100. Like each box is worth a couple $100. So it's like probably good stuff. And so yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna be thrilled about that. But
well, these are still 60.
There you go.
$62.
But yeah, I think we'll start we'll have our own little Griff newsletter that will start here at Sports Card Radio, where maybe we'll post like some of the really random emails and the random, like our tip line blows up, our emails constantly going, and maybe that'll be a cool way to post some of this stuff for the loyal fans of the show. And then maybe we'll do a little bit of giveaways. I think we should rip some cardboard and rip some boxes open. Obviously this will all be free. We're not going to, be Jobs family over here and set up a Patreon and require you to pay for shipping and things like that. We'll do these. Maybe start it next week is probably a good time to start, because you have the national coming up here very, very soon. Ryan, it's been an hour into the show. Did you win anything good this week on the Golden auctions, as you made a healthy profit on a Kobe Bryant book that was apparently signed by him? Anything good?
Well,
doesn't look like it.
It's stuff that I kind of want to win, but I'm not like overwhelmed or blown away with it. So we'll probably just save the money for next week. I am blown away by some of these. 4,200 for King Griffey 1998 card. That's huge money. And I'm just curious because we buy a lot of Kobe stuff. And then, so I'm just curious as to the Michael Jordan autograph market. I don't want to pay too much for Kobe when we could be getting into some Jordan stuff. So I'm just keeping an eye on those type of things. And obviously, look, there's a scenario where Max Christie's a better player long-term than Austin Reeves. So I'm actually, base card selling for $60, autographs of white basketball players that are $960.
Not bad.
Not too bad. That's why I don't know why this hobby treats you guys so disrespectfully and sends you to hellscapes like freaking Atlantic City. Like, why? Why go back here? Why? I went. I was there. I knew in 2016, here we are. God damn, long time ago. I knew I would never go back. Never go back. Look at crickets at the SGC booth. Crickets at the SGC booth. Look at those old holders. Look, there's nobody there. I'm the youngest guy in the room by 30 years. Certainly going to be a different hobby next week. Next week's show is going to be unbelievable. We got the VIP preview day of the National on Wednesday. We'll be going live probably right as the show is closing or after the show is closing on Thursday, the first full day of the National. So we could have all kinds of news. If fights break out, if somebody steals something, if something wild happens on the main stage, if one of these influencers get out of control, we will be right here at Sports Card Radio to cover it. The most low budget sports card channel on the internet for over 15 years. That's actually part of the problem. We could talk about this maybe next week. Part of the problem with this positive content, it's too expensive to make. These guys either have to go to a show, they have to spend $50,000, they have to get a celebrity, they have to open a very expensive box. To the hobby positivity crowd out there, you guys need to find a way to make and produce content that is cheaper and sustainable and as entertaining as some of these clickbaity types. This guy has to travel around the country with multiple camera crews, with audio, trying to, but this particular video he did wasn't expensive, but this chasing cardboard series, expensive videos to make. The videos Jeff makes, very expensive videos to make. The video Card Collector 2 made about redoing his shop. There was like 8 different camera angles, lighting. They sat down with him and did one-on-ones. 4-figure videos each to make. So if you hobby positivity guys are kind of like annoyed at the content that's coming out and you're like annoyed at this and what's happening to my hobby, find ways to produce and make content that's enjoyable, that's cheaper to make and sustainable. These videos that get made over here at Sports Card Radio, I'm the only one who makes them. I'm the only one who sees them. I'm the only one who fucking does anything with them until they go live. And they certainly, I don't have to buy an expensive card. I don't have to buy an expensive box. I don't have to travel around to shows. I don't have to call some famous person and get them to come on with me. Hobby positivity crowd, find ways to make cheaper, enjoyable content that will be sustainable. This, oh, I spent $50,000 here. Oh, this. Oh, I redid my shop. Oh, I'm traveling around to all these different places. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. That's my only thought on that. I think sometimes these guys get caught. Why isn't there more hobby positive content? Well, the content you guys are making costs a effing fortune. Think about how much these guys are going to spend going to the National. Nobody's going to make money creating content at the National. Nobody. You're spending $500-$600 a day just to be there, let alone if you're paying somebody to hold the camera, edit the videos, do the lighting, do the audio, on and on and on. Sharper Vintage baseball cards with the $5. Jeff Wilson is 4x worse an investment than Ty Wilson. We'll leave you guys to decide who's an better investment between Jeff and our boy Ty Wilson. Quick anonymous email that we got. Apparently, I can't verify this. Don't know if it's true. Jab's family, popular YouTube channel over here, 144,000 subscribers. Apparently his mods, and I don't know what the mods do, they've been rude. And all of Jab's mods have been MIA the last week or so. And I've been told that Jab's girlfriend is doing the mod. I don't know what that means, but we're just over here reporting things over here at Sports Card Radio. 1 Million Cubs Project with the What's Up. Go check out his channel. He does a lot of lives and talks about selling cards. I'm sure he'll be, I think he's local to Chicago. I'm sure he'll be at this Sports Card show that's happening next week. Very excited for next week's show because we should have a lot to talk about. We could show clips of the show. We could show social media posts. We could show if a fight breaks out. I mean, I'm hoping a fight. I'm hoping no thefts, but if a couple people get in a fight and it gets on camera, that would be riveting television. So that's what I'm hoping for. Any more questions in the chat?
I think we'll leave it here. Has Kim or Betsy slide into your DMs?
I got nightmare stories about girls. We could have a 2-hour podcast.
We better cut it there.
Holy Lord, cut it off.
Does it involve the Red Lion in Modesto?
I have a nightmare one in Modesto that I'm still like, did that really happen? I literally, during me sitting with this girl, I looked at her like 10 minutes in. I was like, are there cameras that are going to come out right now? I literally was like 50-50. Am I on a TV show? That's how bad it was going. I was like, am I being punked? Like, am I being punked? Right? So that like my day to day can really can swing wildly. Like I literally thought I was on a TV show the other day in Modesto. I was like 50-50. I was like, is this really happening? No, I dipped in Modesto. I dipped out of there really fast. Trust me. She was 32, hot, doctor, been hitting on me for like 2 months. And then I show up and she is like the biggest B word you could ever imagine. Just like saying hella rude things to me, being rude to the staff at the fucking place we were at. She was being hella rude. rude to me. And I was just sitting there just kind of laughing it off. And then I was like, our camera's about to pop out because I'm tripping. So I should do a whole nother channel. Nightmare Dates, sponsored by Ryan.
Nightmare in the Valley.
Holy cow.
We'll come up with a well, we'll send over some subscribers. I'm sure they'll tune in. Folks, that wraps it up for today. We'll be back next week. Be sure to join us again next week. We are going to be live here, not in Chicago, not at the National, but here close to Stockton, California, live here on Sports Card Radio. We'll talk about what's happening at the National Sports Collectors Convention, but we'll do a giveaway next week as well. We'll be like Ty. We'll set up some grifter email list and we'll get some people to sign up and we'll do a free giveaway here on the show. We'll open some cards. We'll have a little fun and hopefully enjoy ourselves like we always do here on Thursday nights. Thank you, super producer Tim in the background. I hope you all have a wonderful week. We'll be back some other time, some other place. But for now, we are out of here.
B-side on the beat.
What's going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on called stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt, cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. Did you dip, Jeff? I think you dipped, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you dipped yet. Willie's doing shady shit like the GOBs, like his whole failed thing with them NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay, he's getting money. Even better, tax-free, loving all the stimulus from PPP. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit.
B-side on the beat.
What's going on with that PPP? You done a lot of talking, not a lot to see. Up in the millions like 2.3, but Jeff got it all, getting off scot-free. Try to talk tips like we talking about stock, but you're talking about men printed on called stock. When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain of salt, cause the market's down and you're a clown, it's all your fault. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. Did you dip, Jeff? I think you dipped, Jeff. What you talking about? I don't think you dipped yet. Willie's doing shady shit like the GOBs, like his whole failed thing with them NFTs, taking money from the people to pay. Most of them are broke, but that's okay, he's getting money. Even better, tax-free, loving all the stimulus from PPP. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit. Jeff Wilson. You ruin the hobby I love with your bullshit.